This is the Daily Saints Pod with Zach and Greg.
Hello and welcome back to the Daily Saints Pod. My name is Greg, and as always today joined by my good friend and wonderful co-host, Zach. How you doing, mate? You alright? You all ready to talk about the game of football?
The fact that it's just another game. It's just like, are you really? Really? It's been days since I've been that miserable. We've just made it through quote unquote Blue Monday. Like, do I really need to make it Blue Wednesday? Like, I don't know. It'll be interesting. The press conference was interesting. There's a lot that's come out of it that, well, me and you have already had back words that I'm sure we'll talk about. Will Still's come out of a statement. It's been a heavy day for Saints, right? People keep chucking the worst possible statistics at us on like a daily basis of like Adam Armstrong's missed the most goal opportunities of the whole championship. It's like we have the leakiest defence next to Sheffield Wednesday, and it's like, man, can we just go like a day? I missed the time we were doing really, really well. But yeah, other than all of like the crazy busyness that's going on, I'm all right. It's still January. Feels like that forever, but
it's crazy, right? There's still a whole transfer window going on. You wouldn't think it, but
what transfer window? It's like me clutching at straws, being like, "Well, we've hired a new kit man." Like, comes with 12 years of experience of setting out shirts and shoes and shorts.
I mean, let's start at the start. Let's talk about the presser. I don't know if some of it gets like lost in tone or translation. Like I watched the presser and like I get the need for Tonda to come out and be like, there's not a huge amount of point looking backwards. We can only look forwards at what we can do to fix it. But like, I mean, how many times have we had that conversation in the last year? Like,
the problem I have is that the entirety of his previous question's answer was talking about the data from the whole game. So, like, the idea of, well, we don't have to look back, we don't look forward, is kind of insane. And I kind of get it, but it's what is the expectation of the ability of a head coach to do that, right? I think we need to try to emotionally separate from myself. I don't know if I'll ping it to you later, Greg, but it was a really good iNews article that was basically talking about all of the problems that we have at the football club at the moment. And, you know, like culture is a big thing. And the fact that like the blame game just goes around in circles, right? Like people blame Sports Republic. So then they change the manager. So then the manager's the one. And then the manager, we've now got this whole middle bit where like there's Sports who supposedly said like the buck stops with him. Remember when we hired him? That is specifically what he said. And I think that the conversations are good to have, but I just don't think that at any point a head coach is going to give an answer that people like want. And we talked about mainly like the way that football is becoming and how you hate football. And you're sort of like, what is the point of like having a head coach if he's not able to like lay down the law sort of thing, if they have to lay down the law himself? So I'm like, well, yeah, because he's like pushing somebody else's tactics. To which you responded, I hate football, which is a completely valid point. But to actually answer your question, it's lost in translation or what? I just think that he's having to learn on the fly how to deal with all of these things, right? The press conferences and the conversations that need to take place, and struggling through with a team during a difficult period, especially as the head coach, first time he's ever had to do it. And that in itself, I think for most people is a problem. Yeah. But I also think that like the line of questioning, in my opinion, I like all of the questions that Alfie said, but I just don't know if any of the answers that he's ever going to be able to give is satisfactory. Like talking about the psychology of the squad, like, is that going to be a big thing for any manager here? And it's like, I don't know, man. Like, surely that's the job of HX Notes psychologist. Same with culture. Like the culture is toxic because we have been underperforming against our expectations for a very, very, very long time. The reinvestment has seemed poor. we've gone through all of these reasons 100 times. I just don't really know what the point of asking the bloke that's like a couple of weeks into the job the question, but I feel like it's because it has to be asked somewhere. So yeah, I don't think it's lost in translation, Greg. I just think that he doesn't know how to answer that question in a way that would end up satisfactory for basically anybody. So saying, "Wow, there's no point, like, crying over spilt milk, and we just need to move on. We need to move on. We need to look at the next." It's because arguably that is his job. His job is not going to be to sit there and be like, "So, when did you first get upset about the fact that we started playing a back four?" Like,
which is fine, right? If he backs it up with a win, three-game week makes a convenient excuse to shuffle it around a bit coming into this game. He actively said in the presser there'll be changes, and it's not because of accountability, but also some of it will be down to accountability. It's just a convenient hideaway for the fact that it's at such a busy time.
It's strange.
Who are you expecting to see changed?
That's why I don't know yet, but it's strange. That's really strange to me. Like, it's not up to me. Every man has to be accountable to himself. I'm like, yes, it is. Like, what do you mean it's not up to you?
Well, that's kind of what I mean about lost in translation a bit, right? Because
maybe
I think what he means is that, like, players have got to play and want to play, and they have to search for that motivation in themselves.
True.
But even then, you're right. It's still his job, in my opinion, to get to irk that motivation in.
Which then begs the question: would it matter which manager we ever had in charge? Which then begs the question: is there ever going to be a director of football that anybody's happy with? Which begs the question: is there ever going to be an ownership that anyone's happy with? Which begins this merry-go-round cycle. So let's get back to team selection because again, we don't have hours to speak about it, but it's all constantly spinning around in both of our minds, I think. So, who wasn't that great last game? Let's have a look at that, shall we? Manning should probably be swapped out for Wellington this game.
Yeah, well, let's start at the start, right? We're not swapping Peretz out in goal yet, are we?
No, I think that it shows how fickle we are as football fans. That we've. You were talking to me about Glenn's point on CSP about how it's no environment for a young player to develop, the chopping and changing. My counterpoint to you was it's no environment for any player to learn and develop in. I think that there are some people that are taking it with their stride, right? So Leo is an example. He has had a lot of hardship in his life in various different points in his career and is able to traverse that. There are players who have been at Southampton their entire career, like Jack Stevens, bar like his small loan trip to Bournemouth and his start of his career in Plymouth. And then you've got other players that maybe don't understand the privileged position they're in or feel hard done by. And then you've got players like Peretz that have been here 5 minutes and are all of a sudden like, wow, I was supposed to come into this team. This was quite exciting. I thought they were quite good, ex-Premier League team, and I've shipped 4 goals in 2 games. Is it all his fault? No. Is there any point to swap him out for McCarthy at this point? No. Is McCarthy at this point here to be a backup goalkeeper to a backup goalkeeper? Probably. So I wouldn't swap him out yet. But it's very telling how it's there. It's very telling to me that we are already starting to see people be like, well, the goalkeeping was poor as well. And I'm like, again, don't really know how when he has 2 people marking a defender and, a back pass that was misplaced directly to a striker, he's supposed to do more. And I think that just happened to Baz a lot more than it should have done.
And well, that's the whole thing I said about Baz, right? Like, he got a lot of the blame, but I look at a lot of the goals he conceded, and it's not like clear cut, right? Like, there are a few where I'm like, maybe he can do better, but it's, I don't know. And like we were saying in the match review, it's clear that he was a problem, but not the problem, right?
It's clear that he was one of the problems, right? And they've tried to work decisively to fit that. But once again, it's like he is not going to be the best goalkeeper in the world. We knew that. We knew what his statistics were like. So why are we allowing the ball to be played at him so often? Like, if you've got a goalkeeper who's standing in front of the goal, who you're worried about having the ball, keep the ball away from him, right?
Yeah.
We seem to not be able to do that. We didn't do it with any of the goalkeepers we had in charge, like Lumley when he was playing. Every time it's not. I think that there's so much on the lad's shoulders, and we are fickle to say the least, right? We have our favorites, we have our club favorites, our fan favorites, we have our favorite era, but we are quick to turn at the moment, and that isn't necessarily the fans' fault. And I think people that kind of blame the fans for being annoyed about paying a ridiculously large amount of money to watch absolutely dire straits on a week in, week out basis themselves need to have a think about why people are so angry. But also, that's a lot of pressure to put on somebody. And I think that he had a lot of pressure on him. And I don't think he's done himself any favours if he ever intends to come back with his press conference talking about how great Stoke are. But I don't hugely blame him either. I guess we'll see how Peretz plays out, but if it ends up pretty much the same, he will end up being vindicated, right? And we'll end up being like, wow, it turns out that the goalkeeper was never really the crux of the problem. The defenders maybe are.
Yeah. All right, so moving up onto those defenders. All right, is this the change? Are we moving to a back four? We sort of were lined up as a back four with Harwood Bellis as a right back at the start of Saturday.
That's what baffled me, because we have like, I get Gillett can't play 90 minutes, but now maybe we will, because we have James Bree. I think he slots straight back into the side. He's fit. He's been playing. He's fit. Why would he not?
Yeah. All right. I'll take it. I mean, something different, right? Is what everyone's asking for. You can't just do the same thing time and time again and expect results. So even if it's not quite what we're expecting, something different is going to be good enough.
Yeah.
Harwood Bellis do enough to not get rotated, do you think?
I think he does. You can tell the passion's there, the fire's there. He does take all the flack. He does work really, really hard. I don't know.
I think he had an all right game on Saturday, and I know that it's hard to take that out of the context of the game as a whole.
It's just a shame that it's just the problem is that I don't know if we keep blaming the defence and then we keep playing the same defenders. We're doing the same thing you talked about. Yeah. But ultimately, who are you going to swap him out for? Are you going to swap him out for Stevens? Probably not. Maybe Wood, but I think that probably would do a better job than Wood. I don't know.
I would like to see a partnership in defence of Harwood, Bellis and Kouachi. That's the two I want to see together. I think that would be fine. I think that would be solid. I don't think Wood had his best game
at
the weekend, and I don't know, what parts of slowing down the game actually fall at his hands, but I'd like to see Kouachi, I'd like to see Harwood Bellis, and I'd like to see anyone at left back that isn't Ryan Manning. Literally anyone.
Man, if you stay long enough to be the villain, right? Like, he got away with he was solid. He was, as we talked about last season, probably one of our better players in the Premier League. Very solid early, and I think when it's going well and you're managing to score the goals to win the game, having the defensive problems aren't as much of an issue. But like, now we are just so defensively frail, and it just feels like he's not there at left back.
He's been exposed.
He is, in my opinion, at fault for that first goal. Like, the fact that he was throwing 100%. His arms out, that everybody else was at fault. And I'm like, well, you're the one that passed it back, mate. Like, you're the one that should have taken more, like, spent more than 2 seconds before you decided to pick out a pass that was clearly wrong, hoping that Kwasi was going to run into it for you. So, like, maybe it's just how much he's played. Maybe it's the fact that he actually plays more as a left winger than a left back. But yeah, I guess we'll see, what Wellington can offer. But I will also point out that Wellington got red carded this season.
Yeah, he's definitely prone to a mistake.
Much better, realistically. I don't know if that's a problem area we want to cover off. Clearly, they don't see it as a problem area.
Yeah.
Or otherwise, they would have had a look into it probably sooner rather than later. And I feel bad because I like Ryan Manning as a player. Like, as a player, as a guy. I think that he's managed to weather many storms, considering he came in as a very fundamental Russell Martin-esque Steining, right? But at the same time, when you keep underperforming like the way that he has recently, that's when you drop people and use this gigantic squad we have. So yeah, I'd like to see Wellington. I think just see how it goes.
Yeah, agreed. Right, moving forward up the pitch, the middle of the park. I don't know. Do we think Cam Bragg comes back in, or I mean, potentially he's still out with concussion, right? That could be 10 days.
If he's if it's still concussion protocol, I don't know if it was mentioned in the press conference at all, right? Because it was
I didn't see it.
That was
maybe
much
it'll come at the
more
10 o'clock one.
Yeah, if he's okay, like I would probably like to see him in over Downs, and I think maybe Downs probably gets a chance at the South Coast Derby, being one of our at this point slightly more veteran players. But yeah, and then obviously I think Yander still starts, but like that midfield, I think that they were talking about maybe Shea Charles would be ready for today. I don't think he'll be ready to start, but maybe Brad can do a little bit and he can come on later.
Yeah, that'd be good. It'd be good to see him back.
Yeah, I think that would be a big boost for the team. And he's basically been gone since the Still era, right? Like when did he pick up that injury? Was it the Preston game or game after?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah,
literally
right before Will Still went, or right around that time. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, like I just think as well, like you want to mix things up from Saturday, because when you've picked the same team pretty much apart from the goalkeeper twice in a row and they lose in such a pretty crappy way, you don't really want to have to deal with that much more, right? So yeah, I guess that's my midfield. If Cam Bragg is fit, Cam Bragg. If not, I guess Downs, Yander, obviously, and then hopefully maybe we'll see an appearance from Shea Charles if he's fit enough.
Yeah. And then what about the front line? How? I mean, this is hard, right? Because it's just very difficult for me. It feels like Cienza and Fellows need to start.
Yep.
And I feel like I don't mind the other two. Ross Stewart, it would be nice to see him get a start and play as the striker.
Yep.
And what? I don't know. Maybe play Cam Archer in behind him. I'd think that would work well. Cameron Archer works best off of a pairing of a player that can hold up the ball and play him in behind.
Greg, every time you suggest playing two strikers at the same time, they never do it.
Let's play, but it doesn't need to be as two strikers. He could even do that role as a number 10 and do this sort of a Zaz sweepy up thing. I think that would be all right. I mean, I feel like he would do more in that position than Azaz has done in recent memory.
What do you think's gone wrong there? Because I
just think he's a confidence player, mate. When we bought him from Middlesbrough, they said he was a hot and cold player who was prone to go missing on occasion, and I just think he's a pure confidence player. And I think his confidence got knocked. I think it got knocked, when he wasn't able to score against Middlesbrough. I think it got knocked when he will probably feel like he got booed coming on, when actually it was more booing for Cienza coming off. Like, it's that's enough to knock it.
Yeah, I think that's true. But like, do you think that's enough for him to not get a start then? Because you're basically saying anybody apart from him.
I just feel like if something needs to change, you can't just keep playing the same names and have them not perform. And I don't know what the answer to get his confidence back in, but clearly it's not been working currently. So,
yeah,
take the opportunity. I'm not saying leave him out of the squad forever, but take the opportunity, the midweek game, rotate the options, work something else.
That might be true. I think I kind of agree with you. I'd happily have Matsky there as well. But I think it would be interesting to see him and Ross Stewart play again with each other, especially where he's just happy to like lob balls into the box, and that's kind of what Ross Stewart did. And like Ross Stewart got on the end of Leo to score the other day.
Yeah.
So yeah, why
Tom
not?
Fellows is the best crosser we've got. Let's put a player who can cross the ball and a player who can score from crosses on the pitch together, and maybe, just maybe, mate, magic will happen. Like, who could think that that's playing to the strengths?
It's just it's just so frustrating, because obviously we've got a big wider focus on all of the issues, and yet we started to, before Stuart got injured, we started to run into a little bit of Will Still form. Then ultimately we collapsed. He got fired. Tonda came in, And it feels like it's been about 4 seasons, and we're technically just over the halfway point of this one season.
It's crazy.
And I don't know why. Like, we're talking about this game, and it just doesn't feel like it's another South Coast derby on like Sunday. It's bizarre. I don't know how else to explain it. I think the word weird has been thrown around quite a lot. And there is just a sense of general weirdness, like how to feel about it, who to blame, who's the problem, where's the problem.
It's very hard not to look past this game completely and think about the importance of the weekend. But it is an important game. If we lose it, we go into the weekend with a honking amount of confidence. But if we win it, it might just be enough to turn it round enough, right? That's why it's important.
Are we not skating with relegation zone at this point again? Like, we went through that period where we were, jumping up the table. We were like halfway up, and I'm pretty sure now we're like far closer to the bottom.
We're 15th. We are 6 points away above Norwich, who are the top team of the relegation 3, which is closer than we are to the playoffs because we are 10 points behind the playoffs. So
yeah, we lose. Pompey win their next 2 games. They're above us again.
Yes,
that's the worrying thing about it. We should really be in a much better position than we are. And if you look at the form table, it's harrowing because we had the form table light up green for so long. I don't know. I just hope there is another twist and another tail in this season, right? And there is another chance to turn it around. I don't know if it'll be tonight. Sheffield United are on the ascendancy after starting off their season in an absolute shocking manner. They've got. There's just a lot of things. Like, we alluded to the fact that we've had a transfer window that's basically been non-existent. We've just sent a load of players out, which means that they're already preparing for the end of next season. And yeah, there's a lot of investment, but is any of the investment in the right places? We could carry on those conversations till the cows come home. But in regards to the game tomorrow night or tonight, when you're listening to this, I just hope that we have something slightly more positive, right?
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit briefly about Sheffield before we head into score predictions, right? Because you say they had their weird start, and you're right. They bought Chris Wilder back for the 53rd time, and they sort of picked up and were on the up. But looking at their form, they lost to Wrexham 5-3. They beat Stoke and beat Leicester. Good wins, good results. Then they lost to Mansfield Town in the Cup, and
that's pretty bad.
And then lost to Charlton at the weekend. It's not all all gravy for them.
They seem to be very
themselves
all or nothing, right? It seems to they don't really seem to pick up that many draws in comparison to like us, right? I think they've had 2 the whole season, which. It's insane numbers, like in comparison to the rest. Yeah, like 2 draws the entire, all very, very all or nothing. So I guess that's a good thing if we do go out there and win and try and play a team that's slightly bereft of confidence. But it's still a scary prospect. Remember, Greg, the AI said that Sheffield United were like 70% chance to win the league. So
yeah. But, I mean, historically speaking as well, the fixture favours us. Of 9 matches in the records that I can see, we've got 5 wins, 2 draws and 2 losses. Most recently, of course, the reverse fixture when, do you remember Ross Stewart's Worldie?
Yeah, that was the one that it kind of came down to, in my opinion, refereeing, right? Like, I will hold my hands up and say when something goes our way that I think was probably not meant to, we will just take it, and vice versa. Am I still going to be mad at Norwich for the rest of the time? Yeah, I am. But you win some, lose some in the Championship, still better than VAR. So yeah, I don't know if we'll have that level of lady luck, but that was one of the few fixtures that we had it this season. So let's just hope it shines on us again, right?
Now the AI specifically focused in on this match when asked is suggesting a double chance of Saints to win or draw with over 2.5 goals and both teams definitely to score. So
I just don't. After the whole
it's
spiel, mate,
an exciting game.
I just don't believe it. Pretty sure it was the opposite of everything in the whole game. Is what it is, isn't it?
It will be interesting. All right, mate. So we've heard what the AI thinks. We've heard what we think about teams. Let's get to everyone's favourite bit. How you feeling? What do you think the score is going to be?
I don't know, because I don't want to end up in the delusional land that you live in as much as I'd love to, of just predicting a win every single time. Historically, we fine 2-0. You're happy?
Win
somehow win.
Sorry.
Somehow we
Yeah.
we keep a clean sheet. We win 2-0. The noise quietens down before something that's really, really important.
Where's the goals coming from?
Let's go Ross Stewart and Tom Fellows just for you, which means that it definitely won't be this result. Because Tom Fellows doesn't score for our club, mate. It's a proven fact at this point.
Yeah, but maybe he'll get an assist. You know, he can cross a ball, and Ross Stewart can head a ball. I don't know. There's hope.
Who knows, bud? Who knows?
What am I feeling? I'm thinking 2-1 Saints. Same as the reverse fixture. Yeah, Ross Stewart brace.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that means we've both kind of put him ahead of Armour at this point, then, or at least maybe Armour comes up later.
Yeah. Or do you know what? Even playing them both together would be nice, wouldn't it? Because Armour is also a player that plays better with a partner.
The boat out. We don't do this, and also it hasn't really historically worked out. Even if they've only done it as a last resort without much thinking behind it.
Crazy. Imagine playing our best players in their best positions together in a structure that works.
No.
Instead of just keeping 3 defenders at the back and hoping for the best.
Excuse me, you haven't sat in front of a tactics board as long as some of those executive assistants, right? Yeah. Oh, it's so disrespectful. No, we don't know what we're doing either. But that's the problem, is that if you pointed out much more eloquently than I did after our loss, right? Which is just if I can see it, if the fans can see it, if all of us can see that maybe one thing isn't working, maybe it won't work. So maybe change it.
Right, I guess there's something to be said about armchair management and 30,000 people thinking they know better than a manager. But sometimes the obvious thing's obvious, right? Yes. Maybe taking the player who had been best and continued to be best at crossing the ball off the pitch at the same time that you bring on the player who's most likely to get on the end of crosses. Maybe that's just dumb.
All I can think of is that one game. I don't know if it was the Bournemouth game or whatever game it was, where Ryan Fraser was really, really ill. And it was well, he really wanted to play though. So I wanted to, and he said he was up for it. So I gave him the time. But then, yeah, he ended up being really, really ill. And you're just there yeah, he was really ill. It doesn't matter if he says, yeah, I think I can do it, Gaffer. You put him on, and then after 20 minutes he was dying. And if anything, you've just infected the rest of the squad. Pretty sure after that we had a massive bout of injuries that were just everyone's sick. So yeah, sometimes you just got to hope common sense prevails and that maybe egos can be put aside and everyone can just crack on with it. But I have to see how it goes.
Hopefully we can crack on, get a win, and head into the weekend with at least a little bit of positivity, because that is in short demand at the moment.
I just don't want to be recording in absolute misery at 11 p.m. again. So here's hoping.
We love what we do. Right, that is all we have got time for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening, and thank you, Zach, for joining me.
Thank you, mate.
We will be back tomorrow to talk about it, whatever happens. A nice, crazy late night recording where we will either be going mad with fury or just delirious with joy. One of the two. Either way, we'll be here to talk about it. But let us know in the comments, on the socials, what you think the score's going to be, how you think it's going to play out. We love hearing from you. We are Daily Saints Pod everywhere. On all the socials, TikTok, X, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Blue Sky. Hit us up, let us know. We love hearing from you. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. We are a newly independent podcast now, so all of those things go such a long way to helping us out, and we love to see it. So once again, thank you, everyone. Enjoy the game. We'll see you tomorrow, and come on, you Saints.
This is the Daily Saints Pod with Zach and Greg.